The Roman Empire, a name that once echoed with power and glory, wasn't built in a day. It started as a small city-state of Rome, eventually expanding its influence across the vast expanse of the Mediterranean. The empire's growth was a testament to its military prowess, its strategic diplomacy, and its unrelenting ambition. Rome's architectural marvels, from the grandeur of the Colosseum to the ingenuity of its aqueducts, stood as a testament to its technological and artistic brilliance. Its governance, characterized by a structured administrative system, was the backbone of its societal order. The empire's culture, rich in literature, philosophy, and art, shaped the intellectual fabric of an era. This was Rome at its zenith, a civilization that had not only conquered territories but also the minds of its time. At its peak, the Roman Empire was a beacon of civilization, a powerhouse of military might, and a hub of cultural and intellectual pursuits. However, empires, no matter how grand, are not immune to decline. A bitter truth that the Romans would soon come to understand. The cracks began to show in the form of political instability, a common ailment of any large entity. The power struggle within the empire led to frequent changes in leadership, with emperors often meeting untimely and violent ends. The empire was plagued by corruption, with emperors and senators more interested in personal gain than the prosperity of Rome. As the political fabric of the empire disintegrated, so too did its economic strength. The empire stretched from the Atlantic to the Arabian Sea, an expanse too vast to manage effectively. This size led to heavy military costs, and as the empire expanded, so too did the length of its borders and the number of potential invaders. The empire's wealth was being drained, leading to increased taxation and inflation, causing further unrest among the populace. Military defeats were another nail in the coffin. The once feared Roman legions were losing their edge, often defeated and pushed back by barbarian tribes. The military, once the backbone of the empire, was now a shadow of its former self, plagued by low morale, lack of discipline, and frequent mutinies. Two significant events signaled the beginning of the end. The first was the split of the empire into East and West in the late 4th century. The division was intended to make the empire more manageable. However, it only served to weaken it, creating two separate entities with their own interests and challenges. The second was the sack of Rome by the Visigoths in the early 5th century, a shock to the Roman psyche and a clear sign of the empire's vulnerability. The once invincible empire began to erode, its foundations shaking under the weight of its own greatness. With the glory days of Rome behind them, the Romans were on a downward slope, a path that would lead to the eventual fall of one of history's greatest empires. The stage was set for the final act of this grand drama. The descent was not sudden but a slow and painful process marked by pivotal battles, leadership failures, and the onslaught of invading tribes. One cannot overlook the role of invading tribes, particularly the Goths, Vandals, and Huns, in the fall of the Roman Empire. The Goths, initially allies of Rome, turned against the empire following a series of betrayals and mistreatment. Their rebellion culminated in the Battle of Adrianople in 378, where the Roman legions suffered a crushing defeat. This battle exposed the vulnerabilities of Rome and marked a significant shift in power. The Vandals, known for their destructive tendencies, seized the opportunity presented by the weakened state of Rome. In the year 435, they swept through North Africa, a vital breadbasket for Rome, causing a severe economic crisis. The culmination of their havoc was the sack of Rome in 455, an event that deeply scarred the Roman psyche. The Huns, led by the formidable Attila, were a terror unlike any Rome had faced. Their invasions stretched the military resources of the empire thin and further exacerbated the internal struggles. This brings us to the internal strife that plagued the Roman Empire. The empire was riddled with corrupt leadership and civil wars, factors that severely weakened its structure. Emperors were often selected not based on their administrative or military skills but rather their ability to bribe the army. The integrity of the leadership eroded, and the empire became a playground for the ambitious and unscrupulous. Civil wars were a constant problem. The frequent battles for power destabilized the empire and drained its resources. The empire was constantly on edge, waiting for the next power-hungry contender to throw the realm into chaos. The political instability was further exacerbated by economic troubles. The empire's vast size made it costly to defend, and the constant wars, both external and internal, drained the treasury. Inflation soared as emperors devalued the currency to pay for their expenses, causing a devastating economic crisis. The military, once Rome's pride and joy, was not immune to the decay. The constant wars and invasions depleted the legions, and the reliance on foreign mercenaries who had little loyalty to Rome further weakened the military structure. The fall of the Roman Empire was a complex interplay of external pressures and internal decay. The once mighty empire, which had stood for centuries as a beacon of power and civilization, crumbled under the weight of its own failures and the relentless onslaught of external forces. The Roman Empire, once a formidable force, fell victim to its own internal decay and external pressures, marking the end of an era. This was not just the fall of an empire, but the end of a world order, setting the stage for a new era in human history. The fall of Rome is a powerful reminder of the impermanence of power and the inevitable cycle of rise and fall that marks the history of civilization. The fall of Rome was not just the end of an empire, but the beginning of a new world order. In the immediate aftermath of the Roman Empire's fall, the world was plunged into what we now call the Middle Ages, or the Dark Ages. It's a period often thought of as a time of decline from the grandeur of Rome. However, it was also the cradle of the future, a period of transformation that set the stage for the rise of new powers and the shaping of the modern world. Over in the East, the Eastern Roman Empire, also known as the Byzantine Empire, managed to hold its own. This was the surviving fragment of the Roman Empire, and it continued to thrive for almost 1,000 years after the fall of its Western counterpart. The Byzantine Empire became a beacon of learning and culture, preserving the knowledge and achievements of the ancient world and passing them on to future generations. But the fall of Rome had a more profound, far-reaching impact beyond the transition to a new historical era. It influenced the very foundations of modern society, from our political and legal systems to our language and culture. The Roman legal code, for example, is the precursor to many modern legal systems. Its principles of justice and rule of law have been adopted and adapted over the centuries, shaping the way we understand and practice law today. In terms of language, Latin, the language of the Romans, evolved over time into the Romance languages: Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian. Moreover, Latin has also heavily influenced English, with over half of English words having Latin roots. In culture, the stories, myths, and philosophies of Rome have continued to inspire, educate, and entertain us, from Shakespeare's Roman plays to modern Hollywood blockbusters. The Roman Empire's fall left a profound legacy, reshaping the world in ways that still resonate with us today. Its story serves as a reminder that even the mightiest can fall, and yet out of the ashes of destruction, new worlds can rise, carrying the echoes of the past into the future. The rise and fall of the Roman Empire is more than just a story of power and decline. It's a profound narrative of human ambition, resilience, and transformation. The Roman Empire at its zenith was a testament to the heights of cultural integration, architectural innovation, and administrative efficiency. Yet even this mighty empire was not immune to the pitfalls of political instability, economic troubles, and military defeats. The lessons we glean from Rome's journey are many. The strength of a civilization lies not just in its military prowess or economic wealth, but also in its ability to adapt, innovate, and maintain a stable governance structure. Cultural integration, while a strength, can also become a challenge if not handled with care. And finally, even the most powerful entities can succumb to internal strife and external pressures. As we look back at the vestiges of the Roman Empire, we are reminded of the cyclical nature of history. The question remains, what lessons can we draw from the rise and fall of one of the greatest empires in history?